Hey everybody, Notorious here. Welcome back to my channel. In this episode, we're going to talk all about pulley savers. A pulley saver is a lot like a ring-to-ring friction saver, except it either has no rings or just one really big ring. It also makes use of a pulley, which makes it a much lower friction option than a regular ring-to-ring. A pulley saver can be used in all the same ways that a typical ring-to-ring friction saver can be used. For example, it could be used up in a canopy as a low friction tie-in point, or it can be used as a spar anchor. The pulley saver has a lot of benefits over the normal ring-to-ring, and I will demonstrate them and explain them throughout the course of this video. So sit back, relax, and let's get right to it. All right, first thing first, let's take a look at my pulley saver and let's see how it differs from a typical ring-to-ring friction saver. This is my pulley saver. It has on one end a big loop, and I made this loop using a Scott's locked bowline. Typically, when you buy one of these, it will have a loop that is stitched, and it'll have stitching along the bottom portion of the loop, which helps keep it spread open, making it easier to install. Next, we have a 6-coil prusik, and I made mine using a 32-inch spliced eye-to-eye, and I then connected a pulley to it using a DMM Perfecto carabiner. And the pulley I'm using here, and the pulley that I think is easily the best choice, is the DMM Pinto pulley. Next, you need the retrieval portion of the pulley saver, and here I just made a 6-coil prusik loop using 7mm accessory cord, and I then attached to it a DMM XSRE screw gate accessory carabiner. And in order to make sure that my retrieval ball goes through the pulley but gets stuck in this accessory carabiner, I carefully wrapped the perimeter of it using 1mm paracord. How about I show you how to install a pulley saver from the ground, and then I will teach you how to use it as a spar anchor. Just like with a regular ring-to-ring, the first step is to take a throw line and a throw weight and isolate a limb. And this is going to be probably the easiest throw of my life. Watch, I'm going to probably miss it. Oh my God, I did. So you want to isolate a limb using a throw line and a throw weight. And once your throw weight is on the other side, the next step is to take your rope, and you want to double it up. You can install it one of two ways. If the pulley on your pulley saver on this adjustable prusik is on a sewn loop and you don't have the ability to disconnect it and midline attach a rope to it, then you'll need to begin by just taking one end and feeding it through the pulley. Find the middle of the rope. Okay, so I've now matched the ends together, and now I'm going to find the middle of my rope. So now that I've found the middle of my rope, I'm going to open this DMM Perfecto, take the pulley and install it onto the Pulley Saver. Okay. All right, so now that I have my two ends together again, you'll see that I have a sewn eye. Sewn eyes don't work with this system because they'll get caught on the pulley and not allow for retrieval. But I'm just going to demonstrate it with this anyway. But you need a spliced eye for this. You can do it with just a regular rope with no splices either. I mean, as well. But it works best with a spliced eye. So now I'm going to take this strand that doesn't have the sewn loop, and I'm going to tie a bowline on it. And then I'm going to take a carabiner and capture the splice. Let's pretend this is a splice for the sake of demo. And then the bowline. Great. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this carabiner to this attachment point below my throw weight. Perfect. Next, I just pull this doubled rope over my desired tie-in point. So here we go. Now I can take off the throw weight, and we're done with that for now. And immediately you can see probably what is the only downside to this system, and that is the fact that you have to quadruple your rope over the limb. So you need 4 times the distance from the ground to your tie-in point in order to install the Pulley Saver. So that can certainly limit how high you are able to install it from the ground, but you can always climb up to it and advance it anytime you want. So now I'm just going to untie this bowline and take off this carabiner. And the next step is to pull this over a little bit, raise my Pulley Saver up a bit, and do my best to keep from getting things tangled. And now, before I go any further, I need to look at my limb and determine where I need this prusik. So I need to figure out how big I need this to be. And too little is going to result in complete failure of the installation, and you'll be pissed because it's going to be really difficult to get that down again and start over. But if you make it a little too generous, too long, that's okay. Don't worry about that. It'll work perfectly. So here I'm gonna look at my limb and just sort of eyeball it. And I think maybe about, I don't know, like that should be good enough, like this. And now I want to dress and set my friction hitch here, the prusik, to make sure that it grabs. And then I also want to tie a stopper knot below my prusik to make sure that it's not going to slip on me. So I'm going to use an alpine butterfly. Great. So for now, you don't really have to worry about this retrieval portion. Just, it's a good idea to cinch it down, make sure it's also nicely dressed and set, and you know, just a little below your stopper knot. And now what you're gonna do is take your two ends of your rope and put it through, either if you have a big ring, some of them have really big rings, or in my case, in a lot of cases with the ones that you can buy, they have a big stitched loop like this. So we're gonna take our two ends and feed it through that loop. Beautiful. Now, just like you would with a regular reindeer ring, we're gonna pull this up, and at this point, you kind of wanna pull it nice and hard and quickly to ensure that it doesn't get stuck, and to just make sure that it's able to get this pulley through this loop. So, so there you have it. That was it. And now I have a Pulley Saver completely installed and ready to be used. So now I can find my, I can, find my end and just pull it over, and I can build a MRS or moving rope system, climbing system, whether that be like a hitch climber setup, or a closed system, or like an open split tail system with a Blake's hitch or a taut line hitch, whatever you want to use. Or you could use a mechanical device in a moving rope configuration. It's any normal MRS climbing system that you have ever used can be used on this system. And now you have this pulley, making it super low friction. And this is really secure. And the way that you retrieve this is really important. This is probably the most important step, because of how there's a possibility that you could forget to do it. Once you ascend up to your tie-in point, the final step is to take your tail here and set your little prusik here nice and tight. And then you want to clip this strand here that's on the right side of the pulley. You want to clip your little carabiner or whatever you're pulley saver has to connect to a rope, you want to connect it to the rope. So now we have a fully completed and installed system, and now you can climb. That little carabiner is just gonna stay on there. It's not gonna get in the way or increase the amount of friction in any way. It's just gonna hang out there until it's time to retrieve it. And then when it is time to retrieve it, you can retrieve it from the ground. So when you install this, if you have a splice, you're gonna wanna make sure that it's on the left side of the pulley and that the strand that gets captured is not the side that has your splice, okay? And that's because when it comes time to retrieve it, you'll need to, girth hitch your retrieval ball onto your spliced eye. Finally, let's take a look at how to retrieve the pulley saver from the ground. There are two ways to do it. You can either do a soft retrieval, which I'm not going to demonstrate, but there are videos that you can look up on YouTube on how to accomplish that using the tail of your rope to help lower the pulley saver gently to the ground. And then there's a hard retrieval, which is basically just pulling it out and letting gravity let it fall, full speed to the ground. Obviously, you don't really want to do that if there are a ton of rocks on the ground, or maybe if you're on a job and there are expensive lawn ornaments or statues or whatever below the tree, or lighting. You don't want to do a hard retrieval, but I'm just going to make it simple for myself for this video and just do a quick demo of the basic hard retrieval, because it's important to see it and understand and conceptualize how it is retrieved. So all you do is, once you're on the ground, you're gonna pull the strand that the little carabiner is connected to, and then you're gonna want to attach your throw ball to the spliced eye of your rope. If you don't have a spliced eye like myself, I'm just using a regular end here. I created my own retrieval ball using a knot that I created called the Gladiator Stopper knot that you can learn how to tie if you want. I'll put a link in the description for this knot. But it makes a perfect retrieval ball, and I then just have a length of paracord below it, and that allows me to do a double clove hitch around the end of the rope. Pull this end and watch what happens. Oop, let me step back here. Trying to get a better angle here. So keep pulling until the retrieval ball gets up to the pulley, and then pull the retrieval ball through the pulley, and it'll get caught on the retrieval carabiner. And then once it gets caught on the retrieval accessory carabiner, you can use it to pull the system out and down to the ground. So you saw how smooth that was. It wasn't very difficult at all to uninstall. This is a great piece of kit, and I'm excited to show you now how you can use it as a spar anchor. All right, so we've just seen how a pulley saver can be extremely useful for a canopy, tie-in point, an anchor. It is retrievable and easy to use and low friction. But what if you want to use it around a spar? This is where I think the Pulley Saver truly shines. So, just like a regular ring-to-ring system, we're going to start by taking the loop of our Pulley Saver and throwing it around our spar. And next, make sure you can see this, you're going to take your prusik and adjust it so that you can just slip the pulley through the loop. All right, so I'm gonna adjust it right here, and I'm gonna put the pulley through like this, and maybe raise this up a little bit so that way it cinches. It's really abrasive bark, but now it's gonna cinch down really nicely. And that's one of the major benefits that this has over a regular ring-to-ring. Ring-to-rings have the potential, even the adjustable ones, to start sliding down the spar, especially on smooth bark. But with the Pulley Saver, it's not in basket like a ring-to-ring, it's in a choke formation. So that is already hugely beneficial. Then I'm on my moving rope system here. Of course, I have my lanyard on right now as I'm doing this to protect myself. And I'm going to take my hitch climber setup, and I'm just going to place my... if you had the pulley directly connected to the sewn loop and you didn't have midline connectivity, you would just feed your end through the pulley. But I have mine designed so that it's midline attachable. So I'm just gonna take it, connect my working end to it, and then connect and close up that system. And now I have a spar anchor that is cinching down, is fully adjustable, and super low friction compared to you know, a regular ring-to-ring. Because of this pulley, it's going to be super low friction. I guarantee you that once you start using one of these, you're going to probably fall in love. I mean, it's so smooth and it's just incredible. And just like with the arrangement for a canopy anchor, what you can do for retrieval, you want to set a high up tie-in point on a spar, on a tall spar, and then, you know, maybe descend down and do work, you know, maybe cutting the limbs off, and then when you reach the ground, you want to be able to retrieve it. Well, that's something you can do. All you have to do is just take that retrieval carabiner and place it on to this strand here. Okay, so like that. And now, whether you're moving out on a limb or descending down on a spar, you now have the ability to retrieve it the exact same way as was shown in the previous demonstration. I would show you again, but I have this sewn termination here and it would get stuck on the pulley. But basically, you know, you saw how it worked before, and it's very easy. You just put your retrieval ball on, the retrieval ball goes up through the pulley, gets caught on this, and then this pulls the system out. So one thing I did want to talk about is I made my Pulley Saver nice and long. Does it have to be this long? Absolutely not. It's nice to have options. And with a long tail, there are other tricks that you can do. You can create, you can equalize Pulley Saver in an M formation, or actually it's more like a V. So you can sort of create like a V rig with your Pulley Saver, and you need this extra length to do it. So I guess I am going to keep this length. I'll demonstrate that probably in another video, so keep an eye out for it. One way that's great for managing excess slack on your Pulley Saver is to tie a daisy chain below it. And not only will that help, keep everything neat and tidy and consolidate that extra length, but it will serve as a stopper knot. And that is pretty awesome. So now I can have it just like that, and it's not going to get in my way anymore. But like I said, if we simulate how the retrieval would work, I would take this off, and with my spliced end, the spliced end would slip through. This isn't going to slip through because it's a sewn eye, but let's pretend that it's a spliced eye and that it just slipped through like I showed in the previous segment. And then now I would have my retrieval ball on, but I don't need it right now because this is bulky enough. This is going to get caught on the little carabiner, and then it's going to pull the system off. This is going to get caught on the little carabiner, and then it's going to pull the system off, and you have it back, and it's ready to be used again another day. All right, this has been my episode on Pulley Savers. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, show your support by hitting that like button. Please subscribe, hit the all selections so that you get notified every time I drop a new video, and be sure to check out my channel for more hitch how-tos, knot tutorials, and climbing videos. Bye.